In the summer of 1518, the city of Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, was struck by a bizarre and unsettling phenomenon. Without warning, dozens of people began to dance uncontrollably in the streets. This was not a festival or celebration, but rather a mysterious compulsion that seemed to grip its victims with an unrelenting force. The townspeople watched in shock as their neighbors, friends, and even family members moved to an invisible rhythm, unable to stop day and night. This was the beginning of what would become known as the Dancing Plague of 1518. Outbreak is said to have begun with a woman named Frau Trafia. In early July, she stepped into the street and started to dance, seemingly unable to control her movements. At first, her neighbors thought she was simply caught up in a moment of joy or perhaps madness, but as the hours turned into days, it became clear that something was terribly wrong. She danced for nearly a week, and soon others joined her, as if the compulsion was contagious. The city's authorities grew increasingly alarmed as the number of dancers swelled. Within a week, dozens more had joined Frau Trafia. Men, women, and even children were seen dancing in the streets, unable to rest or eat. The city was gripped by fear as the dancers' numbers grew. Some accounts suggest that as many as 400 people were eventually affected. The authorities, desperate for answers, called upon physicians and clergy to help, but no one could explain the cause of this strange epidemic. The city's leaders began to worry about the health and safety of their citizens as exhaustion and injury became common among the dancers. Doctors at the time were baffled by the outbreak. The prevailing medical theory was that the dancers suffered from hot blood, condition thought to cause fevers and strange behaviors. Physicians advised that the only cure was to keep dancing, hoping the afflicted would eventually exhaust themselves and recover. This advice led to the construction of stages and the hearing of musicians, in an attempt to provide a controlled environment for the dancers. Unfortunately, this only seemed to encourage more people to join in. The city's physicians recommending more dancing, local authorities hired musicians to play day and night. Stages were set up in public squares, and professional dancers were brought in to support the afflicted. The hope was that music would help the dancers release whatever was causing their compulsion. Instead, the music seemed to intensify the outbreak, drawing even more people into the frenzied dance. The city's streets echoed with the sounds of drums, fiddles, and exhausted feet. Physical effects on the dancers were severe. Many collapsed from exhaustion, dehydration, or injury. Some accounts claim that several people died from strokes, heart attacks, or sheer fatigue. The relentless movement left the dancers' bodies battered and bruised, and the city's healers struggled to care for the growing number of victims. The spectacle of people dancing to the point of collapse horrified onlookers and deepened the mystery surrounding the plague. As the epidemic continued, some turned to religious explanations. Many believed the dancers were cursed or possessed, perhaps as punishment for sins. Clergy organized processions and prayers, hoping to appease angry spirits or saints. In particular, Saint Vitus, the patron saint of dancers, was invoked in hopes of ending the plague. Religious fervor swept through Strasbourg, but the dancing continued, seemingly immune to both medical and spiritual intervention. Saint Vitus was widely believed to have the power to curse people with uncontrollable dancing. The city's clergy led processions to his shrine, hoping for a miracle. Some dancers were taken to religious sites outside the city where rituals were performed to cure them. These efforts sometimes brought relief, but the overall impact was limited. The association with Saint Vitus gave the phenomenon its other name, Saint Vitus's dance. Dancing plague occurred during a time of great hardship in Strasbourg. The city was suffering from famine, disease, and social unrest. Many historians believe that the stress and anxiety of daily life may have contributed to the outbreak. Mass hysteria, fueled by fear and uncertainty, could have played a significant role in spreading the compulsion to dance. The event reflects the psychological pressures faced by people living through difficult times. Modern scholars often describe the dancing plague as a case of mass psychogenic illness, or mass hysteria. In this view, the outbreak was not caused by a physical disease, but by psychological stress that manifested as uncontrollable dancing. The phenomenon spread through suggestion and imitation, as people witnessed others dancing and felt compelled to join. This theory helps explain why the outbreak affected so many people in such a short time. Other theories suggest that the dancers were poisoned by ergot, a toxic fungus that grows on rye and other grains. Ergot contains chemicals similar to LSD, which can cause hallucinations, convulsions, and strange behaviors. Some historians believe that contaminated bread may have triggered the outbreak. However, this theory is debated, as ergot poisoning usually causes more severe physical symptoms than dancing. Social environment of Strasbourg in 1518 was tense and uncertain. Famine, disease, and political instability weighed heavily on the population. Some experts believe that the dancing was a form of collective stress relief, a way for people to express their anxiety and fear. The outbreak may have provided a temporary escape from the harsh realities of daily life, even as it caused new problems for the city. City officials struggled to contain the outbreak. Their decision to encourage more dancing based on medical advice may have made the situation worse. As the epidemic dragged on, authorities eventually banned public music and dancing, hoping to break the cycle. Guards were posted to prevent gatherings, and some dancers were isolated from the rest of the population. These measures finally began to slow the spread of the plague. By late summer, the number of dancers began to decline. The combination of bans, isolation, and perhaps the simple passage of time brought the outbreak to an end. The city slowly returned to normal, but the memory of the dancing plague lingered. People wondered what had caused the strange epidemic and whether it might return. The event became a cautionary tale passed down through generations. Dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's most mysterious events. It has inspired countless books, articles, and artistic works. Historians, psychologists, and medical experts continue to debate its causes and significance. The story serves as a reminder of the power of the human mind and the ways in which communities respond to crisis. Even today, the dancing plague fascinates and puzzles those who study it. 1518 outbreak was not the only dancing plague in history. Similar events were recorded in other parts of Europe, especially during times of hardship. These outbreaks often shared common features: sudden onset, rapid spread, and eventual disappearance. The recurrence of such phenomena suggests that the dancing plague was not unique to Strasbourg, but part of a broader pattern of mass psychological events. Dancing plague left a lasting mark on European culture. It influenced art, literature, and folklore, becoming a symbol of uncontrollable forces and collective madness. The story has been retold in plays, paintings, and even modern media. Its legacy endures as a fascinating example of how communities interpret and respond to unexplained events. Today, the dancing plague is often discussed in the context of psychology and social science. Researchers use it as a case study for understanding mass hysteria, social contagion, and the effects of stress on communities. The event is also cited in discussions of how cultural beliefs and expectations can shape physical behavior. Its enduring mystery continues to spark debate and curiosity. Dancing plague teaches us about the power of collective experience. It shows how fear, stress, and uncertainty can manifest in unexpected ways. The event also highlights the importance of understanding psychological and social factors in public health. By studying the past, we can better prepare for similar phenomena in the future, whether they take the form of physical symptoms or other unusual behaviors. Despite centuries of study, many questions about the dancing plague remain unanswered. Was it truly a case of mass hysteria, or did physical factors play a role? Why did the outbreak end as suddenly as it began? And could something similar happen again? These mysteries ensure that the dancing plague continues to captivate historians and the public alike. Artists through the centuries have depicted the dancing plague in paintings, drawings, and even music. These works capture the chaos and emotion of the event, offering a visual record of how it was remembered. Artistic interpretations often emphasize the surreal and tragic aspects of the outbreak, blending fact and imagination to create lasting images. Over time, the dancing plague became part of local folklore and myth. Stories about cursed dancers, vengeful saints, and supernatural forces grew around the event. These tales reflect the ways in which communities try to make sense of the inexplicable. The line between history and legend is often blurred, adding to the enduring fascination with the dancing plague. In recent years, scientists have used modern methods to study the dancing plague. They analyze historical records, environmental data, and even weather patterns to search for clues. While no single explanation has emerged, these investigations have deepened our understanding of how psychological and environmental factors can interact to produce extraordinary events. The response of the Strasbourg community played a crucial role in the course of the dancing plague. The actions of city leaders, clergy, and ordinary citizens shaped how the outbreak unfolded. Their efforts to help, control, or explain the phenomenon reveal much about human behavior in times of crisis. The event is a powerful example of the importance of community in facing the unknown. The story of the dancing plague has found new life in modern media. Documentaries, podcasts, and novels have brought the event to a wider audience. Its blend of mystery, drama, and historical intrigue makes it a popular subject for storytellers. The dancing plague continues to inspire creative works and spark the imagination of people around the world. Dancing plague offers valuable lessons for the present. It reminds us that psychological and social factors can have powerful effects on health and behavior. Understanding the past helps us recognize the signs of collective stress and respond with empathy and care. The event encourages us to look beyond simple explanations and consider the complex interplay of mind, body, and society. Centuries after it ended, the dancing plague still fascinates scholars and the public. Its combination of mystery, tragedy, and human drama ensures that it remains a subject of study and storytelling. The event challenges our understanding of history, psychology, and the limits of human experience. As long as questions remain, the dancing plague will continue to capture our imagination. Belief played a central role in the dancing plague. The expectations and fears of the community shaped how the outbreak was experienced and understood. Whether through religious rituals, medical theories, or social pressure, belief influenced every aspect of the event. The story reminds us of the power of collective belief in shaping reality. Dancing plague serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of misunderstanding and fear. It shows how well-intentioned responses can sometimes make a crisis worse. The event encourages us to approach unusual phenomena with curiosity, compassion, and a willingness to learn. Its lessons are as relevant today as they were 5 centuries ago. Dancing plague of 1518 remains one of the most intriguing mysteries in history. Its causes are still debated, but its impact is undeniable. The event reveals much about the human mind, the power of belief, and the ways communities respond to crisis. As we reflect on this strange chapter of the past, we're reminded of the importance of empathy, understanding, and the search for knowledge in facing the unknown.